I'm from Europe. I'm from Denmark. I'm born here. I've never seen a gun. We don't have guns here, okay? Hey, hillbilly can't go into a store here and just go to buy a gun or go to a gun place and shoot, and guns are so stupid. No private person should be allowed to have a gun. We don't see school shootouts here. We don't see on the streets two guys getting angry at each other and shooting each other. Guns are stupid. Guns should be completely removed. Only the police should be allowed after, long period of education, blah, 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 test in their brain and take everything and then be allowed to carry a weapon. No one else. No private person. No hillbilly. No one else. Okay. For me, guns are for losers. There is not a gun on the artwork. Who cares? Grow the F up. Guns are for stupid people. All the guns at private people's homes should be melted, destroyed, and removed from this earth in all the countries in the world. Only police officers that should protect us, law and order, should have guns. No one else. That's how I feel. That's how I have lived all my life. And I hope till the day I die, I never see a gun in my life. Guns are for stupid people, okay?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So look, I'm going to be reiterating a lot of things that I did in my stream last night in regards to the John Wick gun hot topic and everything. So this is just going to be hopefully my last video in regards to this whole situation. I basically just want to get the record straight and give you things from my perspective. When I don't understand why someone does a particular thing, I typically ask this individual, including my children, why did you do this? Walk me through your thought process. And by hearing the thought process go through, I'm able to kind of go up right there. That's where you messed up. And see, what should have been done is this. And so what I'm going to do now is kind of walk you through my thought process, so that way you have a better idea of why I said and did and was acting the way I was. I mean, was my reaction in that video valid? No, not to that extent, at least. I listed the reasons why in that video, but essentially, I was more than likely still surging from the pre-workout, and I had no food in my system, so I was hungry. I get hangry, the wife tells me. But I think mainly it was that I felt something was beginning to creep into something that I have a lot of passion for, and that's pinball. It hit a soft spot. I'm like, no, of all things to take from me, don't take this. Please don't take this. Don't let this be what's going to happen to something that I really am getting a little emotional about that one. So I did not want this to start bleeding its way into something like this. So if, in fact, with the multiple people that have told me now from sources that they've contacted that it is the license holder that made that decision, it sucks. I'm glad it's not Stern. Do you really think that I would blow up like that because a manufacturer didn't include a certain asset in the game? No, because I would be making videos like that all the time. And I think that's a very common misconception people have in this topic, is because they keep wanting to compare it to other instances. For example, it's like having no Godzilla and a Godzilla machine. Yeah, that is important, but it's not the same. We didn't see you up all in arms about JP's lack of assets, and it's one of the best shooters that are out there. You are right. I did not create any content like I did yesterday in regards to a manufacturer not including assets in a game. Plus, I have the movie code on my Jurassic Park, so that basically counters the lack of assets that Stern provided. But the point that people just can't seem to just wrap their heads around. It's not that it's missing assets or things are missing. It's the particular asset that is missing. I am a licensed, trained gun owner. Now, I may sound like it to a lot of you out there, but I'm not some hillbilly that wants to go out shooting guns and everything and stuff like that. Ooh, yeah, and just firing stuff off into the air. I carry for protection of my family, as well as protection for others out there. And I also hope I never have to fire my weapon for that reason. But you have people in this world that are like the dude in my intro, and you've also got people with power that are constantly attacking my Second Amendment right. Which is almost a daily thing, but it's always been completely separate from my passion of pinball. They've always been separate. But it seemed like when this happened, they were starting to collide. This was something I hoped would never happen. But my thought process started to lean as if that's what was going on. So in my mind, when hearing that there's no guns on this game, I started putting pieces together. I started taking a piece from here, a piece from there. Now, did these pieces fit perfectly? Not entirely, but I think at the time I started to think that they did.
I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress? What the hell are you talking about?
And so I started wondering, okay, why are there no guns? They have guns in other games, which others have mentioned and pointed out, so that's where I was struggling to make sense of this. Why would they do this? Lionsgate sure as hell wouldn't do this. I mean, you'd think that they'd be all up for showing off their license and everything. Like, oh, here's all the epicness of what is John Wick. And it's like, okay, well, what has changed? Why would this happen? Okay, what has changed at Stern? The leadership has changed at Stern. Holy crap, Seth, he's there now. He used to work for Disney, and we all know what Disney does when it comes to pushing an agenda.
The message.
So it was an oh my god moment. The agenda is starting to bleed into pinball. So I made the video just on pure adrenaline / emotions. I hit publish, and then I went about my merry day, only to come back to my PC later, and then I started to read comments and stuff that's going on all over Facebook and on Pinside and everything, and
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
And what's crazy, I get up this morning and I've got comments and messages from people that are pointing out the obvious to me. They're like, oh, well, George Gomez posted something last night, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, and that was also posted many hours after my video, guys. I digress. But George Gomez did begin doing damage control on social media yesterday, and in a nutshell, his post in regards to the whole gun topic was that it was, in fact, a brand decision when it comes to Lionsgate. Evidently, Lionsgate made the decision to not have guns in the art package. And George Gomez is one of the handful of people in this hobby that I truly respect. And so it was good to hear that. And now, if you want to read deeply into his message, there's still room for, well, you say gun toys, but what about guns and the art? You can sit there and pick it apart. But it's one of those where I'm like, okay, let's just go on the basis, because I kind of want to put this behind me, and I think definitely in the future it will prove whether or not this is in fact the way it went. So if they have another game that should have guns and there's not guns, then we'll know for sure by then. But it's a little bit relieving to me that the decision wasn't because Stern Pinball is trying to push an agenda or anything like that. So yes, I feel better about that. But now I have to just question why. I mean, so let me get this straight. Lionsgate is like, hey, do not put guns on the art package in regards to the cabinet and the play field. But they're totally okay with having scenes from all 4 movies of John Wick putting bullet through people's heads, blood and gore and all that kind of stuff. They're completely fine with that. Really? So that's where I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, but maybe it makes sense to them. I can, that's where I'm still like, I don't understand, but whatever. And then, of course, there's the argument to make that if they weren't able to do guns in the art package, then why push and go forward through with the whole theme in general and continue making the game? An obvious decision is that we do not know where in that decision-making process it was performed, how far along the whole package deal was done, and of course, Stern is there to make money, and they know that even though that they can't put guns visually on the art package, it's still going to be on the display, and they can hopefully still make a awesome package for us to enjoy. And in a way, that kind of bodes true, because I myself, as well as many other people, at first look, didn't even notice that the guns weren't on the art package. And we all know that mod makers are going to be all over this. I've already been contacted by a couple of people about what they plan to do with this game. And obviously, if I do get this game, I won't know for sure until after I play it and everything, guys. But if I do, definitely one of the first things I'm doing is changing the translite to something that it's better kind of thing. I feel that definitely once the mod makers get a hold of this, they're going to be able to assist in bringing this game to its proper, true character form. It's just funny that I read a lot of comments that are just like, well, what's the big deal? I mean, so what? What's the big deal? Oh, they don't have guns on the art package. Who cares? And it's like, okay, let's go that route. Let's put myself in that mental status of just like, what's the big deal? Why have them on there? It doesn't matter. Okay, if it's so trivial and it doesn't matter, then why take them out of the game? By all means, give me your response to that. Look, I hope this is my last video in regards to these two topics colliding together. I want to get back to talking about pinball. So that's what I'm going to do. So my next video will obviously be going over this launch from my usual perspective. So stay tuned, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support through this whole debacle and everything. I really got to see the true supporters of my content through this whole ordeal. Obviously, some of you didn't like it, and that is definitely your right to not enjoy that. But again, thank you all of you through this whole process. There's definitely many methods and ways people could have gone by hearing and watching that particular video, and I just thank those for the support, whether you liked it or you didn't. Even if you didn't agree with me, you still stuck by, but you have those that are all obviously just didn't like it so much that they decided to hit the unsubscribe button. Oh well, maybe we can win them back in the future. We shall see. So anyways, guys, love you long time. Let's get back to pinball.